Whoa, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It's the LAS Lock-In Show, episode number 4. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you.
Let's go, baby.
We are going to be getting into a lot of stuff today. We got to talk about some rules. We got to talk about some playoffs predictions. We're going to go into the Gauntlet predictions, talk about stuff with our guest here, and then finally we're going to wrap up the show by hyping up Grand Tournament, the one we are super excited about. It's Worlds format, just like you see in League, and this is going to be good. We're excited. We got a brand new guest here today, and we're going to hop right into it. So joining us today, we have our Verge Warriors top laner, Ghost of the West. How are you today, Ghost?
I'm good. How are you doing, Mac?
I am fantastic. Glad to have you on the show. We're excited. Obviously, me and Pac are on the Gods. You're on the Warriors. Going to be a cool episode. We have a lot to talk about. And so if you want to give a little intro on yourself, we'll hop right into the episode.
Yeah, so like Max said, I'm Ghost of the West. I'm the top laner for the Verge Warriors. We've been having a pretty good season so far. Really enjoying the league. Just doing everything we're meant to do, I guess.
Which is win, baby. Winning is all good.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys are a part of the Legends Division. Last year, me and Pac were a part of the Legends Division as the Verge Esports. That went great. This season, we started in Masters, and we made a team called the Verge Warriors, threw you in there along with 4 of your other teammates. It's been going really great. So what have you been thinking about the LAS so far? Have you been enjoying it? You guys seem to have a lot of chemistry already. What's your intake on that?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying the league, been enjoying the format. The whole community's just great. There's a bit of banter going on all the time. Not quite at the level of trash talk, but enough to make you think and get competitive. Really enjoying the team. We've built up chemistry over this short time that's really helped us solidify our place in the league, I think.
That's what we love to hear, especially in the Legends Division. There's a lot that can happen and a lot that's to be done. So can't wait to see you guys in the finals against RAR. But with that being said, we do want to take a look at the standings currently for the playoffs. We know we do have finals coming up on October 10th. But in each division, there's a bit of an interesting matchup for the finals within all those, if you want to go over that, Mac.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see. So in the finals, Legends, it is going to be Verge Warriors and RAR. And the Warriors... Who's in the finals for Warriors? It's going to be GT Sabres and... Who's GT Sabres facing in the finals?
It is GT Sabres Cashed Out Gaming.
Okay. So I don't have the... I'm not able to have the results pulled up. If you want to... Do you want to have that on your monitor?
Sure, yeah, I got it already.
Yeah, sure.
And with the playoffs for Masters Division, it looks like it's going to be Dire Wolves up against VRG Gods. So all those matches, all 3 of those Cashed Out Gaming, GT Sabres, Warriors, and RAR, Dire Wolves and Gods, that'll all be on the 10th of October. You can tune into anybody's stream, including the LAS official stream, that of which will be in the description below as well.
Right. And before we move on a little bit, we do want to talk about a brief ruling issue that we did have. So in the Masters Division, the match that took place between Lightweight Crew and Verge Gods, there was a rule that was broken on the side of Lightweight Crew, unfortunately. And because of this rule, they will receive a forfeit. It's kind of unfortunate, but it happens when rules are broken. And yeah, so that did happen, unfortunately. But rules can't be broken. This one was, and that's all we're gonna say about that. So in the finals for the Masters, it is gonna be the VRG Gods against the Dire Wolves.
Yep.
All right, so. If we want to get right into the rest of the Season 3 schedule, you're going to be seeing that on your screen coming at you. Like we said, the finals are going to take place next Sunday, October 10th. For all 3 of the divisions are going to be playing on the same day. And let's see what else we got. So we are going to get right into playoff predictions if we want to predict the outcomes for these games. So which division should we tackle first?
I definitely want to give Ghost of the West a different division than the one he is in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at the Warriors division first for the Warriors top laner to determine what he believes would be the outcome of this game. with GT Sabres versus Cashed Out Gaming. That of which you got to remember, GT Sabres just took their first loss in the playoffs versus Empire Gaming, if I'm not mistaken. So this is something that, or actually, rather, Huskers Black. Correct, which is a Masters team division that had to be moved over in the placements for playoffs. So what do you think is going to be the outcome of this series?
It's quite an exciting one to think about because I know a lot of GT Sabres games this season have been forfeits, unfortunately. So there's only really a couple games you can look at to like see how they play. And from what I've seen, they're pretty dominant in game. And Cashed Out Gaming, I remember watching in the live streamed game this last weekend, and they were also playing really well. So I think it's going to be a really close match, but I personally think the unpredictability of GT Sabres is going to help them come out on top this weekend.
Do you think it's going to be a 2-0 stomp or a 2-1, or how's the series looking?
I think it's going to end up 2-1. I think maybe a little bit of a demoralizing first loss last weekend for GT Sabres. Mm-hmm. I think they'll still be able to come out on top here, but I think they will end up taking their second one.
Very good.
All right. What are you thinking on that, Pac?
Honestly, I don't disagree. Well? I would have to agree with that 2-1 Sabres. I think this is a team that has to be looked at, but Huskers Black obviously did their research in a sense. They were also a team that kind of was like blinded going into this tournament playoff. So not even GT Sabres knew what to expect. Even when we played up against them in Heat 5, we didn't know what to expect, but that was still a very good game. It was one of the better ones of the group stage, I should say. But I think it should be a pretty interesting series. I think Cashed Out Gaming could put up a good fight, but it just depends on what the Sabres can bring to the table. What about you, Mac?
So for those finals, GT Sabres, Cashed Out Gaming. So I believe GT Sabres is also going to come out on top all season long, even preseason in the tournament. They have only dropped a single game. We did say some of them are FS, but I mean, hey, the games that they won were pretty convincing wins. I mean, they've been really tearing up the league, being the first time being in this league. So as far as the finals outcome, I believe it is going to be GT Sabres 2-0. Cashed Out Gaming has looked really good, but then again, I think GT Sabres are just going to keep doing what they've been doing, which is just really dominate the games that they do win. So as far as the Warriors division, I do believe the GT Sabres are going to claim the victory in the Warriors division.
Very good. And with that, we do want to move on to the next division, which would be Masters that we want to talk about. So Macklin, if you want to go ahead and give your 2 cents on how you believe the Masters division is going to come out.
Oh boy. So like we said earlier, it is going to be the MNG Direwolves against the VRG Gods. Oh boy. So regular season, we did go 1-1 with them. The first game we played with them started off pretty okay. I mean, we had a pretty good lead, I will say. But two pretty intense team fights later, they came out on top and beat us. Second time around, we did get a revenge game on them, which I'll pat myself on the back as well as yourself, because that was a pretty convincing win from us, I will say. So if you want to think about it, this is pretty much I guess you can say the tiebreaker game or series, which will be the finals. So
the Clash of the Titans.
It'll be a really exciting, very exciting best of 3 for sure. But let's see. All right. So obviously, I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible, but I think with what our team can produce, I'm going to go with a VRG Gods victory 2-1. Not going to be a 2-0. I'm not going to be like that. I do think that they could really give us a run for our money. So I'm going to predict that I think we can do it. I think we're going to come out on top 2-1 over the Direwolves.
So I'll give my 2 cents. I think this, once again, is the Clash of the Titans. I think these are the 2 best teams going out of this division. I did believe in Lightweight Crew as the runner-up in the favorites, but sadly, we will have to take the bullet for the matchup in this one. With that being said, I think it's going to be a 2-1 Direwolves, given that they have a coach over us, and we have a little bit lack of practice, but Not going to say that I don't believe in our team at all, but I believe this is a team that is more formed in a sense, and I believe these guys are on the same page in a lot of aspects too. So it's going to be a very good series. I would love to take both games away from these guys, but with the confidence they're bringing to the table, I feel like it's going to be a very good series for them to take it 2-1 and be the champions of this division. What about you, Ghost?
What are you thinking, Ghost?
I'm thinking, keeping the bias out, it's going to end up being 2-1 Direwolves. I know from playing scrims with you guys a lot and seeing a lot of your match stats at the end, you're a very dominant team. But I also feel like Direwolves, in the end, just pulls ahead ever so slightly on you guys. Like Pac was saying, they're a very well-developed team. They're very coordinated. There's just a lot going on that I think helps give them that slight edge over you. I do think it's going to be a very close series, hence I'm giving it the 2-1. But I think, unfortunately for my org here, it's going to end up being a 2-1 in Direwolf's favor.
Yeah, of course. We obviously, got to be as unbiased as possible. This is just what we think is going to happen. Yeah. Me being the only one that thinks it's not a bad thing for me to be the only one to think we're going to take it.
No, absolutely not.
It really
I
could
love
go
the
either
enthusiasm.
way. Yeah, of course. So yeah, being that you guys think the Direwolves are going to take it, like we said, any of us can take it. It's going to be pretty hard, but basically, from where I'm coming from, I think the last win that we took off of them, we're going to kind of remember how that game went and just use that as our mental fuel to just take it over them on this time. I know they do have a coach and they are pretty good. But I mean, it's going to go 3 games, definitely, but either of them can win it. But I'm just going to give a slight edge to us, just a little bit. Unbiased, it's going to be close no matter what. But we're going to get into the Legends Division finally. We have... We got the VRG Warriors. Obviously, Ghost is a part of them, and going up against RAR. So what are we thinking is going to happen there?
So, I'll take the lead on this one since it'll be my first one. Definitely going to have to say it's going to be a 2-0 Verge Warriors. I think this team is coming in with a lot of confidence. Their drafts are insane. I think they're doing very, very well with that. They do a little trolling sometimes, but, I'm the owner of the org, so it makes a lot of sense. But I think with the diversity of this team and what they bring to the table as far as their carries, even in the top lane as well as the jungle, not so much just the ADC and the mid lane role. I think these guys have a bit of an advantage over RAR. I'm not too sure how these guys have been doing and how the series goes as far as Verge versus RAR in the regular season, but with the confidence that these guys can bring to the table, I think they can shake off anything that comes to them in any sort of scenario when it goes up into the series. So 2-0 Verge Warriors for sure.
Do we want to save Ghost for last, or should I take it here?
Go for it.
I'll go last here.
Okay,
so you go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, did you guys go 1-1 with them during regular season? Okay,
yeah.
So Heat 3, they took a win off of you guys, and then you got a revenge win on them on Heat. I believe it was 4.
Should have been 4.
Heat 4. Yep. So they won, you won, boom, boom, and you guys both actually completed your semifinals games 2-0 over your opponent. So you're both riding the high of 2 wins in a row, getting that win. So I'm gonna be real. Obviously all 3 of us being a part of the Gods and the Warriors, it's got to be unbiased with this, but I am gonna have to say that I do think the Warriors are gonna take it 2-0. They've been putting in massive work, the scrimming, the practice. We think they've been doing incredible during their first season here in the Legends Division, so I'm going to have to give it to them. Warriors victory 2-0 over RAR in the finals.
I hate to be the odd one out here considering it's my own team, but I think we're going to end up taking it, but I think it's going to be 2-1.
That's fair.
Okay.
We, like you guys have said, I don't want to toot our own horn or anything too much.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We have been a very dominant team. We've been taking good drafts. We've been looking at opportunities every time, taking scrims and practice whenever possible. But I think that also makes us a little overconfident. The overconfidence is what gave us our 2 losses this season, I think. And I think we take game 1 and we get a little cocky and we might try and ego the draft a little bit, so to say. And if that happens, I think our chances of winning that specific game are pretty low. But I do, in the end, think we will come back out on top, take it 2-1.
All right.
Very good.
Well, that's all our predictions for all the finals matches. We are now going to get into the gauntlet matches. Can't forget about those. So, without further ado, let's go back to the Warriors division and look at the gauntlet. So, what do we have?
So
all right.
playoff gauntlet.
So,
yeah,
I believe it is going to be... Oh, so I'm pretty sure we mentioned this in the past, but Huskers Black was moved over to the Warriors division. So I do believe that they don't have a gauntlet because they are...
Huskers Black versus Skinny and
yes,
Skinny
so
Legends.
Skinny Legends of them did exit the league, which does give the victory to Huskers. So they are going to be in Grand Tourney, I believe. Yeah.
Third seed. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So they are going to be the final team going into that. So as far as gauntlet goes in Warriors division, it's already kind of settled because of that situation. So let's move on to the Masters Gauntlet. We have one match there, and it is going to be Espionage and Apple Bottom Boys for the final spot for Grand Tournament. Okay, what are we thinking there? Who wants to take that one first?
I'll go real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Alrighty, so Espionage, Apple Bottom Boys. I think Espionage has turned out to be a team that somebody, or like a lot of people didn't predict would come out on top in this sense because they were doing really, really good towards the end of the heats. Apple Bottom Boys were starting to fall off a tiny bit, but I believe they still have a lot of talent on that team. But with that being said, I believe Espionage will be taking that series 2-0. Over Apple Bottom Boys. I want to see Apple Bottom Boys really put up a fight, and hopefully they've been getting a lot of training for this one because Espionage is probably their most even matchup, but at the same time, their most underestimated. So you never know what's going to come out with these guys.
Okay. Yeah. So I am actually going to have to mirror that prediction. Pretty much everything you just said, I also feel the same. I think Espionage is a really good team. I also think Apple Bottom Boys is pretty good. We went 1-1 against Espionage during the regular season. We went 2-0 over Apple Bottom. That's not my reasoning for the prediction. I just think that Espionage will take it 2-0 over Apple Bottom. We did defeat Espionage in our first game with them. It was a pretty good game. I think we did really well. But then they beat us the second time around, and they do have some good strengths in their team, Espionage. So for the predictions, I do think it is going to be Espionage 2-0 over Apple Bottom Boys to secure that final spot.
Yeah, I'm basically of the same mindset here. Espionage, like, I can only really tell based on the match stats at the end, but in their closer games, they do really perform well. It's really only I've only really seen them get stomped from the you guys and Dire Wolves, it seems. It's the first two C's here, so it's really it's really a tough one to call from my perspective here. But I think looking at stats and stuff, I'm gonna have to follow you guys with Espionage 2-0.
Wow. All right.
And taking a look at the stats real quick, these guys are already 1-1 against each other for the regular season. Regular season, Espionage took a game on Apple Bottom Boys in Heat 1, but a bounce back on Heat 5, which is the most recent one, gave Apple Bottom Boys the victory over Espionage.
And this is basically going to be the tie-breaking game because this is a best of one, not a best of three. This is a gauntlet match, so it's a one and done. Whoever wins the tiebreaker and also is the last spot for Grand Tournament. So this is definitely going to be a huge match. And this, of course, is going to be taking place on the 10th of August next Sunday.
Okay. 10th of October.
Yeah. 10th of August, October.
Going back in time a bit.
Whatever. Yeah, we can't go back in time, but it is going to be October 10th. Where am I going? All right, so we're going to go into the Legends Gauntlet, yeah? So let's take a look at
the Legends Gauntlet.
So the Legends Gauntlet is going to be Rajin Storm and Rajin Chaos, both from MNG. Wow. So it's a MNG org clash for the final spot for Grand Tournament. So, what are we thinking here?
What are you thinking, Ghost?
Uh,
Yeah, you did fight them in this division. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah. I'm honestly gonna have to give it to Rajan. I think.
Really? Okay.
It's gonna be a close game. I think this might be a bit of a hot take here.
Hmm.
But against us, their drafts are going fine. They are playing pretty coordinated. From everything I've seen, they play well overall. They just make a few mistakes here and there that kind of start to snowball the game out of their control. I think if they can just clean up those couple little mistakes that they find here and there before this weekend, whether it's just playing a bit more practice, getting a couple scrims in, I think they have a very good chance at taking this.
Thinking 2-0 or 2-1?
Are the gauntlets?
Oh, sorry. That is a best of
Yeah.
one. It's gonna one and done. And I did look at the regular season. They are 1-1 against each other. So
I did just look at that too.
who's taking the?
Oh, the other
tiebreaker,
ones
you
are
think?
one and done too.
Yeah, gauntlet matches are best of ones. I did forget about that. Yes.
Okay.
So you're thinking Rajan Ghost?
I think Rajan, but it's going to be a really close one.
Oh boy. You know what? As far as my prediction goes, I'm gonna have to also go with Rajan. I do believe Ghost has a good perspective on that, being that he did play with them in that division. But actually, Rajan Storm was also in Legends when we were there, so we did play against them before. And if I recall correctly, they have some good games against us, and I don't think they've defeated us. Nevertheless, I do think they're a solid team. Going 1-1 against their sister team Chaos, I do think Rajan Storm is going to take it over Chaos, being the final team out of the Gauntlet to make Grand Tourney.
Yeah.
So I'm also going with Rajan.
I think it's gonna be Chaos.
Oh!
And
I
there's
think
the
Chaos-
divergence.
Wow!
No, I think it's gonna be Chaos, considering their most recent victory against Rajan Storm in Heat 5. The last time Rajan Storm had won was second game of Heat 1, which is a long time ago if you put it into perspective from here to the beginning of the season. So I want to see Chaos take the game off of Rajan Storm with this one, and I think they're going to be able to do that confidently.
So I feel like we're all three members of the analyst desk at like a League World event right now. We're going prediction after prediction, and Pac was the last person on the desk with the
crumbs prediction.
the crumbs prediction. So we're like, God dang, okay.
Profit Pac over here.
Yeah, profit Pac. All right, so I believe that does it for the gauntlet matches. So now we are going to get in to talking about Grand Finals. Without further ado, let's jump right into that, because this is the tournament for this league. We have finals for each division. Hey, those are exciting, but we're talking about Grand Finals here, and we're going to give you guys all that action when that goes live, and it's going to be a lot of fun, going to be really exciting. So let's take a look at what teams have already made it. Grand Tournament. It's on the homepage. So we have
None are filled in at the moment.
right. So some of them are already guaranteed in, I believe, right? I think
Yes.
we're just waiting on the gauntlet matches, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we do have the dates for that. So we have how about we talk about the group draw show?
Sure.
Let's do it.
So that will be happening on, what does that say? The group draw show. Grand Tournament is going to be, I believe that's October 24th. Have the schedule in front of them?
I do not currently have the schedule in front of me, unfortunately.
That says
November 3rd.
Is it November
3rd? It's too small.
Here, go on the Discord and I'll scroll up on the announcements, the images there. I believe that says November. I might say 2nd.
Certainly.
Oh, here's the
Tournament
big
round
picture.
one
There
is
we go.
the
Yes. So
The 7th.
the
It's
grand
gonna be on your
tournament
screen anyway.
Grand tournament round 1 is on November 7th. That is
November
round 1
7th.
for grand tournament. Grand tournament round 2 is going to be November 14th. Grand tournament quarterfinals on the 21st. And the following week is actually a Thanksgiving break. But grand finals or grand tournament semifinals will be on the 5th of December. And then the finals on the 12th of December. And then that is the end of the season.
That's it. So
That is
we
it.
could talk. So we're talking grand tourney right here. So let's dive in a little bit here. So we do have the past victors. For season 1 of this league of LAS, it was the Boosted Bonobos taking not only their divisions but also the grand tournament. Moving on to season 2, the grand champions was a team known as Guardians of God's Glaze. They were in our division when we were in Legends, but they did not re-sign for season 3, unfortunately. So we technically do not have a defending Grand Tourney champion, although I am aware that Dire Wolves Vincent was a part of Boosted Bonobos, and when they changed their name to P247 in season 2, they were the Masters Division champions, but they were in the finals of Grand Champions with Guardians of God's Glaze and were defeated by them. So, potentially, we could have a player, aka Vincent, as a member of 2 teams that have won 2 Grand Tourneys. So, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty hype and exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the grand tournament in general is very exciting. You have a bunch of teams from different regions, if you will, coming together and having a lot of good games. And I know a lot of them are very sportsmanlike. So this is actually one of the more hyped tournaments in general for this league especially. Having all those lower division teams that don't really see the light in the other divisions eventually clash together. So it's like a really, really fun way for people to get good games out and see who comes out on top with these good teams.
Yeah.
Right.
It's exciting in my opinion because like the difference between worlds and just regional play, every region has its own kind of built-in meta that they follow. From what I've heard, the Masters tends to follow the top tier list picks. The Legends I've seen tends to follow more comfort picks and stuff. So it's definitely interesting to see how the 2 playstyles will clash in the grand tournament.
Yeah, and you have Warriors division, which is pretty much the median of both. You have the comfort picks into the tanky metas. So having all that in a blender is definitely going to be quite the smoothie when you drink that shit up.
Oh, yeah.
So since we're talking about Grand Tourney, let's go over some dates and some rules with that. So obviously you can find this out for yourself if you go to Divisions and Events on the LAS website and click on Grand Tournament with your left button on your mouse. Get on in there and you'll look at the team pool, group stage, and the knockout stage details. Feel free to read that at your leisure. We're not going to go into too much details on that, but we're just here to hype up the Grand Tournament because it's going to be great. But basically, round 1 is going to be starting on November 7th. Group A, Group B, C, and D. All going to be getting their games going on there. Then followed up by the knockout stage. If you click on knockout stage, that bracket is huge. These games are going to be crazy. They are best of 3s, each of these. So once we get into mid-November and December, these games are going to be pretty crazy. So just take a look at the schedule. Stay up to date on these, and it's going to be good.
For sure.
And a lot of these teams have players that haven't even experienced this before, but when you watch Worlds, this is exactly what you're being drafted into. So having that as like something to look forward to, and especially the draw-in show, which everyone should tune into. And we're going to be having our own watch party as well. It's going to be insanely hype as last year. But if you ever want to compete in one of these leagues, you just look at these Worlds formats that we're going to be seeded into due to Grand Tournament and all these top tier teams that are going to be coming in here in the lower division ELO. It's going to be very, very fun to see these guys clash it out, especially when it's a competitive format such as the Grand Tournament. So very, very excited, just as I was last season. So This is even going to be better than last season. It's a different group format. It's going to be very, very interesting how this turns out.
And definitely, and also going back on the draw show, like we said, the production there is so much going into this, guys. I am blurry right now. Trying to talk about the group draw here. Whatever, it'll refocus. Anyway, group draw, definitely be there. It's going to be great. So as you have been seeing on the LAS Discord, we are going to have replays. There's going to be so much more about this group draw than last time. So please check this out. It's going to be very, very hype. It's going to get everyone in the mood for a grand tournament. We're super excited. There's going to be all kinds of videos, all kinds of takes, interviews, all that good stuff for the draw show. But moving on, let's get back onto the grand final hype train. So, let's give me and Pac's take on this, because we have been in it last time, and Ghost here is actually going to be a part of a team that is going into grand tournament. So, how about we give Ghost the rundown on that?
Yeah,
sounds good
absolutely. To me. So, as soon as groups are over, is what you're meaning?
Yeah. So let's. So this is going to be Ghost's first time in the grand tournament. Super hype, obviously. So, and we have been a part of it. So I was thinking maybe we give him the rundown on what it's like to be in grand tournament.
Yeah. So starting with the drawing format, the way it's going to be working, teams are going to be drawn from a little mysterious objects. And out of that, you are going to be seeded into one of 4 groups, Group A through D. And with this, just like Worlds format for the actual Pro Series, you can't be in the same division or the same group as your division, I should say. So we would be able to pair with each other, but you guys wouldn't be able to pair with something like M&G Eclipse, for example. So it's going to be seated in that way. We're going to be having best of ones. That's going to be a schedule listed on the website as well. All these teams will be competing over the course of about 2 weeks. Then it's going to be seeded into the knockout stage, which is the most important part. The top 2 teams from each division, leaving 1 out, will be seeded into this. Best of 3s with quarterfinals starting on November 21st of 2021. It's going to be 8 teams being seeded, that of which the next games will be the following weekend or 2 weeks actually after the 5th for the best of 3s and semifinals. And then after that, the 12th of December for finals, where the 2 best teams out of any of these guys will be competing for what is known as the Grand Championship of LAS, which is very, very important. You get a big shiny banner on the front. You get a little name tag at the bottom, which is pretty cool. We almost got that, but we didn't. But it's always cool to see your name on there. So it's very, very hype. Congratulations once again to the Guardians of God's Glaze. Shout out to them, because that was a very, very hype game to even watch. I watched that whole thing and I was like rooting for them the whole time. They did very good. But
they defeated last year's champs.
Exactly.
Well, at least the rebranded of last year's champs, P247 2-0.
Yeah, and with no defending champion, all hands are on deck for any team that can make it into the knockout stage. So we just have to see how that turns out.
And what makes Grand Tournament even more exciting than we already told you, but what this does is it gives an opportunity for 3 of these divisions to be facing teams that they haven't faced before. The Legends are going to be playing against the Warriors and the Masters. Warriors, Legends and Masters, and the Masters are going to be playing with the Legends and playing against the Warriors. It's literally anyone's game. A lot of surprises happened last season, so it's really exciting. Something I want to bring up. So last grand finals. So basically, what was super interesting, I'm going to bring up the teams that were a part of this. So basically, Guardians of God's Glaze and VRG. Before we were VRG Gods, this was we were just the Verge Esports. But us and the God's Glaze were a part of the Legends division, and P247 was coming out of the Masters division. And here's what was the crazy part. So, Guardians of God's Glaze, we beat them each time during the regular season, but we would lose to P247. We weren't able to beat them. Now listen here. Guardians of God's Glaze 2-0'd P247, and P247 would beat us. So it's literally
a
3 teams that beat each other and lose to these guys, win against these guys. So the reason Grand Tournament is so exciting is because these things can happen. Like, Legends divisions are going to be facing the Masters division teams, and they're pretty good. Like, I mean, upsets are going to happen. There are going to be some crazy outcomes. And this is this Grand Tournament is going to have some more interesting upsets and matches because there are 3 divisions as opposed to 2. So instead of Masters against Legends, mixing it all up, it's going to be 3 divisions all mixed up there. Gonna have some upsets, crazy games. So we honestly could not be more excited for Grand Tournament. It's gonna be really, really good.
As a first-time comer, we want to get your opinion on how you see the format and how everything's going to be coming into this Grand Tournament. What do you think of this so far?
I think it's exciting. I think it's really. We've got a good model to follow, obviously, considering it's basically the exact Worlds format. And I think it's exciting to think that we're going to be playing against other teams in the Masters Division as Warrior Division, because, like I said previously, we've scrimmed against you guys before, so we know how talented the Masters Division can be.
And how talented you guys are. You guys can beat us. You guys have beaten us in scrims. It can happen on the Grand Tourney stage. That is why this is so exciting.
It really is. I'm super hyped. That's all I really have to say on the matter.
It's gonna be.
It's hard to find the right words to like express it.
Oh yeah, that's we were in your.
There is a lot of excitement.
We were exactly like you. We were Legends Division. We did amazing in our division. We went undefeated in Legends. Didn't know what to expect, and hey, we did pretty good, but we didn't win it. We went against P247, and they made quick work of us. It was hard. It's really hard. Grand Tournament is definitely something different. Oh yeah, we did have a lot of fun.
We weren't even so much defeated. We were obviously upset about the loss, but it really was brushed off when we knew it was Grand Tournament. We didn't really know what to expect, but that's really what comes with the fun with the Grand Tournament, is because you get to clash against each team and prove yourself to these guys. So definitely can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Alrighty, so we gotta cover now. So Grand Tournament, and this is not a quick event. This goes on over the course of, I believe, a month and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Give or take, yeah.
Yep.
So this is going to be obviously kicking off November 7th, and the final games are actually going to be taking place December 12th. So when you think about it, just like real life Worlds for LCS and all the other regions like that, this is over a month-long event. So like how we're just getting done with playoff finals for every other division, it's pretty much the equivalent of that, but all in one grand tournament. So the whole idea is that all these divisions are going to be dishing it out. It's going to be crazy. You never know what to expect. There's going to be some pretty crazy upsets that are going to happen. I just know it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Grand finals. Let's see. So, anything you guys want to add more to Grand Tournament, or do you think we covered it all? Because I think
honestly, I just
hyped.
hope people are just getting as hype as we are. Because this is like, it's a once in a lifetime event, baby. You got to be there or be square. And if you're a square, then you're not even there. Like, get the fuck out. But like, come on, you got to be at the Grand Tournament, especially if you're not even a team there. You got to support one of your favorite teams in your division. It's always good to see these guys clash it out. So, a bunch of good games to look forward to, and can't wait to see you guys on the game stage. The Summoner's Rift.
Can't wait to face you on the Rift.
On the Rift.
Battle for that banner, baby.
That's right. That's pretty much what this league is all about. We're all about these crazy games. It's all for fun. We're really going to enjoy this. November from December, this huge event's going to be happening. It's going to be really good. And we're going to see. Can Vincent, a part of Direwolves, bring them to his second Grand Tourney while their first victory? Or, I mean, are they going to get upset by the VRG Warriors? Like we have Ghost right here. He can beat them. They can beat him, you think? Like we said, upsets.
You think GT Sabres can just take one defeat and go into Grand Tournament and just sweep the rest of it? Or can the Verge Warriors wake up? Or actually, no, not the Warriors. I mean, the gods needs to wake up. Verge gods need to wake up and then get the Grand Tournament themselves. They could even do it. Or you could even have something like, let's say, Cashed Out Gaming coming out of nowhere. They could sneak up and win the whole thing. Or you can go back over to the Legends division and have RAR sneak in and get the whole thing. You just never know what to predict with these teams, so it's going to be
for a while. A lot of people watch.
Yeah, a lot of upsets, a lot of Clash of the Titans. So let's do it. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so just we're gonna close it out in a little bit, but before we do, obviously take a look at the schedule. We're gonna have that on the screen here. Basically of everything that's going to be happening. There's a lot going on. We're going to have a few clash breaks. We're going to have a few holiday breaks. So definitely keep up to date on that image that you see on the screen here. There's going to be a lot happening every week. There's going to be either a break or a match. So keep up to date on that. But we are super, super excited for Grand Tournament. But of course, before Grand Tournament, we have to get through the finals. So take a look at that. Be sure to tune in to all the streams happening right there. It's going to be some good games, so let's close out this series with a bang, and we're going to get ready for the draw show. Tune into that. It's going to be really, really good. You guys are going to be surprised. A lot of production going on in there. And then finally, we're going to close out the season and the year of the LAS Season 3 with Grand Tournament. It's going to be super exciting. 3 divisions going into it this time. It's going to be good. But as always, we want to thank you guys for watching this episode. This has been episode 4 of the Lock-In Show. If you have any questions at all, reach out to a moderator on the LAS Discord. By the players, for the players. We couldn't be more excited for the closing of this season. And we will see you guys on the Rift, on the Discord. We're going to see you everywhere. And we can't wait for you guys to watch this episode.
We'll see you guys there.
We will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Peace.